It's true that Montana is a long way from the Gulf Coast, but you can bring that Cajun flavor home with a stop at Cafe Zydeco. From poke sandwiches, Cafe Zydeco has all the best Cajun in town. Are you in the mood for seafood gumbo or crawfish etouffee? Maybe you're craving jambalaya with some shrimp and grits. Head in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or call ahead for pickup or delivery. Cafe Zydeco will fix all your southern cravings, even on a chilly Montana day. By Spirit of the Big Sky Gallery on Custer in Helena. Mark LaRoe, photography.com.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call State Farm agent Mike Miller in Helena today.
Store-wide savings are what you'll find when you shop for new home furnishings at Rucker's Furniture. This means tremendous values on Helena's largest in-stock selection of home furnishings. When you shop Rucker's, you'll find store-wide savings on the furniture you want for every room in your home. And you'll also find our selection of Serta iComfort, the most comfortable beds in Helena. 12-month financing is available with approved credit on most purchases over $289. Ask for details. You'll find store-wide savings at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
Welcome back to the Jason Walker Show.
Welcome back, Jason Walker Show. Inside the Major Mortgage Man Cave, presented by Capital Collision Center. Check them out on Euclid. Man, they just did some great work on my pickup. I got T-boned July 2nd. Just smoked. Girl missed the stop sign. You know, all signs matter. Stop signs matter too, but poor little girl, I felt bad for her after I got out. But they just fixed up my truck. It was unbelievable, and I'll tell you more about it coming up. Still to come on this day in history, and the walk-off, and we have some unfortunate news out of high school already, and I guess that's a good place to start on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline with our next guest. He is the Butte sports writer extraordinaire, Bill Foley, joining us here on the Jason Walker Show. Bill, how are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing, Jason?
You know, I'm doing all right. I never thought, actually, after a couple of years ago, that I would ever have you on my show, but we have so many things in common right now that I figured, you know what, it's a good time to reach out to this dude. So appreciate you coming on.
2020's done a lot of crazy things. That's bringing the cats and dogs together.
That is exactly right. Hey, Bill, like I said, we'll start right here. The unfortunate news, Butte Central opting out and forfeiting its first game at Hamilton Friday night. This is not going to be the first. The reasons behind it, they've only had a couple of, 12 days of practice and no summer workouts. Are you surprised that this is the first one?
Yeah, I guess I am. Butte Central's been the Class A team that's been, small enough to be a Class C team for so long. I've always, wouldn't expect this out of them, but I did know that there was a lot of trepidation on them being ready. They're not, and it's not
starting the week of September 11th, and to give themselves a couple of extra weeks, and the Class B is supposed to start this week, and I just think we're going to see more of these postponements or cancellations, fortunately, coming in the next few days.
Yeah, I think you will. I'd be shocked if this is the only one, and it is a surprising one. That it's a Butte school.
Your kids in less than 2 weeks, and so it is a smart decision. Unfortunate for the kids, but a smart decision.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Bill Foley joining us, buttesports.com. You and I have been taking quite the hit lately because
we've been taking a beating, huh?
we agree that we all want sport. I mean, this is our livelihood. I talk about sports. You write about sports. We want these stories to tell about the kids and the coaches. But at the end of the day, it's okay to understand that there's something bigger than sports going on right now. And just take me through your opinion since March of what has gone on in your mind since the start of this pandemic back in March.
Yeah, well, I remember it was just so weird in March being at the tournament. I was in Billings with Butte Central's team then. Drew Saylor was covering Butte High, and I just remember it was coming. The news driving driving over, listening to the radio. You're hearing all the cancellations, the NCAA and everything. So it was really, I thought it was uncomfortable. And to think that was 4 cases back then, we get 56 new cases a day in this state. But it's just it's been really it's been an adjustment for me not being around sports. But all along though, people kept asking me, "Do you think they're going to play track? Are we going to have a track season? We're going to have a softball season?" And I was thinking football at this point, because at that I'd be cautious, don't play. I want to side with the experts, and hopefully we can pull it off, and we can behave ourselves in the way that the society that will allow them to pull it off.
Well, I read one of your articles. It's Tapper Light, ButteSports.com, and you've been writing more opinion pieces since the pandemic hit in March. It's usually every Tuesday, ButteSports.com, but there was one thing that stood out in your writings a couple of weeks ago, and it's something that I've been saying since March too, was it's okay to overreact and at the same time still be concerned. And now it's, we want sports to talk about. We want these games to happen. We may not even have a spring season still next year, Bill. And that stood out to me, and that's why I wanted to reach out, because we're thinking so far ahead, and still the unknowns of if we, like Coach Jeff Choate said, we don't know if we're going to have spring 2021.
Yeah, and that's what I think. I said them on Twitter at the time, and I got called out by a few people as I said, any of these moves that are getting moved to the spring are probably not going to happen in the spring. They're just kicking decisions down the road.
Right.
And, talking with Bruce Saylor, who I've worked with for 150 years, he seems to think that maybe these, all these, they're banking on the, conferences are banking on a vaccine. That's probably our only hope, is a vaccine that can be kicked in sometime around the first of the year. But other than that, I don't know. I don't see us in being in a better position then as we are now. Almost might have been, but it's hard to pull the, I don't know. I'm glad I'm not making the decisions for everyone. I wouldn't want to be in I wouldn't want to be in Mark Beckman's shoes. I wouldn't want to be in the conference commissioner's shoes right now, because it's, it's, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't at this point.
No, you're exactly right. Bill Foley, our guest here, Farm Hotline. Bill, when you look at it, we saw the Frontier hold out as long as they could. We saw the Big Sky cancel and move to the spring. Are you surprised that the high school is still going to try to give it a go? Because there are less things to worry about with high school as far as out-of-state travel and overnight trips and things like that. But at the end of the day, to me, it's still about the unknowns and the safety and the long-term health effects for these kids.
Yeah, I was really surprised. I guess I thought that even though I was talking with Mark Beckman a lot this year, he was at a few minors games. And I've been in communication with Mark, who I've known since he coached junior high basketball.
Oh, wow.
He kept saying that they thought that they would play, and because he thought there's less variables. But I was still, when that was July 27th, when they came out with the announcement saying they were going to play, I was kind of surprised at how full go it was, like full steam ahead kind of a thing. I thought it'd be a scaled down plan or something, but so I was a little bit surprised on that. And then I talked with Mark last Wednesday night, called him up, we had a long conversation, and his opinion is basically he would like to get a season in. Obviously he didn't want the cancellations of basketball, and he seems to think that if there is a window to get a football season in, it's going to be fall and rather than spring, because I think he tends to think that things are just going to get worse the way it's going to, and that's kind of how I read him anyway. But yeah, it was. I think everything surprises me these days. So
well, yeah.
Nothing should surprise you, but everything.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. Bill Foley joining us here. We talked a little bit about this already, but the parents, they've told me, we've seen it on social media, publicly, privately, that they gladly would give up watching in person if that meant that their kids could have a season. And now that we've seen the different counties come out with, different rules, which is another conversation here in a second, but now the parents are upset because now they can't go watch in certain communities like in Billings or Helena. And at the end of the day, this has to be about the kids. You can't say, in my opinion, that you'll give up watching and watch online if that means the kids can have a season, and then get pissed when when you can go. So there's no good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. It's, I sympathize with the parents, because I know I missed my son play one Little League game because I covered a Butte Central softball game. It's the only Little League game I missed, for my job. And it broke my heart. But, it's either about the kids or it's not about the kids, I said, well, I sympathize with the parents and I would like, I wish they could watch their kids play. But yeah, it's, if it was my choice, if my son get a chance to play football, and it means I don't get to watch him play in person, or the option is he doesn't get to play. It's a pretty easy decision for me. You want to go with it's about the kids. It's about the kids. So yeah, I'm a little. And some of the conversation about that has just been insanely crazy. But I do sympathize with the parents and understand, that there's passion behind it. I want to watch them. But yeah, but 2 weeks ago, a lot of these same people said just let them play even if there's nobody there.
Yep.
But. And then when it's okay, we'll let you play. There's nobody there. They're like, no, but we want to watch them.
All right, yeah. There's one group on social media that you and I both have gotten ripped on, and same guy. I think he's threatened us. His name is Doug. He's up here in Helena, but
he's threatened me several times. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, Doug is Doug, and if you know Doug, we know who we're talking about. But they're not scientists. They're not epidemiologists. They're not any smarter than you and I. And they're trying to make these decisions for the kids. And to me, it's just let the experts do what they do. Let us talk about it and write about it, and let you just enjoy it as a parent or a fan. And some people like Doug just can't get it through their heads.
Yeah. Well, we have a mutual friend in Billings area, Brian.
Oh yeah, there's that one too.
Yeah, he has a good point about that. Basically, those guys are saying that there is a number of deaths that they're willing to accept. Mm-hmm. And he wants to know ask them what that number is, and they don't seem to comprehend that question. But when they're saying that, they're willing to sacrifice some people,
right?
So for a high school sport, and that just seems crazy. But yeah, I'm not a doctor. I've never even played one on TV, but I certainly don't want to tell people what to do, but I want to listen to the doctors. I want to listen to the experts, when they tell us what to do. I listen to our health department. In Butte, we have Karen Sullivan as our health officer. And, she does a very good job, but she's conservative, about how she goes, even though she approved the plan to let up to about 120 people at a Butte High game. But she's conservative, and people are saying, well, what's wrong with her for being so conservative? And I tend to wonder about the people who aren't conservative. I worry about the Wild West over in Bitterroot Valley, where, they're acting as if nothing's going on. Or do you see the picture today from the rodeo on Twitter I saw?
Up in the Flathead.
There were thousands of people together up in Flathead at a rodeo and like 2 masks. It's I tend to worry about them more, but when listening to the experts and take the approach that I'd rather be too conservative and wrong than too liberal and wrong at this point.
Well, and that's one thing.
On the side of safety.
Absolutely, and that's one thing. I read a study back in July or late June, early July, from a doctor who said, there's 13,000 FBS football players across the country. And he predicted if they were to have a full season, nobody postponed, nobody canceled, they just played. He predicted 3 to 7 deaths based off of the percentages. Well, to me, that's one too many. And are you, as a parent, are you okay sending your kid out thinking my kid might be the one that passes away in the entire Northwest region just so that they can have a season? And that's just erring on stupidity. And to me, it's not even thinking smart.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I have a son who has asthma. Who last year I missed the Helena High Butte High game because he was life flighted to Missoula with an asthma because he had a respiratory infection. So I mean I don't want to put my kid out there. And I certainly don't want to put anybody's kid out there. But that's why when it came to school option, we decided we're staying home. Our kids are going to learn remotely. But yeah, so. I guess some people are calling me a big wimp for such an overreaction, but yeah, I mean, how can you say one death is okay?
Yeah,
even if you don't know that person, even if it's in Oklahoma, one death is many, and then we'll say, oh, don't go drive, and you might get hit by a bus and stuff, But of course, we have seen, so it's. I don't know. I've been just banging my head on the wall when it comes to some of these conversations over the years.
It's been really hard for me not to engage. I mean, I learned my lesson on not to engage on social media because you end up losing a job. But at the end of the day, and Brian and I, we've had our issues, but he's got the same opinion on this. Like, it's just the safety of these kids. We don't know the long-term effects. We had the 19-year-old in Puyallup, Washington, pass away a couple weeks ago. A star athlete, great shape, got COVID, and then he died. Bill Foley, our guest here at ButteSports.com. This was the one thing I brought up a little bit earlier too, and this is, I think, the real frustrating part for a lot of us, a lot of parents, a lot of everybody, is there's no uniform decision across the state. And I don't know if we can have one from the city, county health department or the governor's office or the state, offices, because you have small communities like a Richie Lambert, you have a Webo, but then you have Yellowstone County where you have almost 800 active cases. And how can is there a way, Bill, for like Butte's allowing 2 people per uniform student athlete? So that's, like you said, 120. I think Great Falls was 3, Helena, Billings, none. Is there a uniform way, do you think, to come up with this, or we have to leave it up to the specific city, county health departments in each town?
It seems like you would have to. It'd be really hard. And, of course, I fear that if there is any kind of uniform way to handle it, it's going to be to just drop everything.
Yeah.
So, I'm not sure how you did, but that is the frustrating part. I think the inconsistency for so many people, they say, oh, you can have 300 people at a wedding, but we can't have, more than anybody at a football game. It's, of course, one thing is we have to follow the wedding can break a rule, and, they don't have to worry about next week's wedding getting canceled.
Right.
We break a rule and our season's over. But, I'm not sure how you would do it. I think you have to leave it up to the each individual county. And, I would like, just in an ideal world, I guess you could see if the governor would have some kind of uniform plan, but, whether or not that would work, I guess I really don't know. But I think that is the root of a lot of the frustration with people, is just each county, is doing something different. And I think nationally that's the same way too. Each state's doing something different, California, they're a lockdown still pretty much. South Dakota, they act like nothing's going on, so it's, I do think that is the most frustrating part. Is just, I think, of course, I always said lack of leadership right from the top down, statewide, nationally, it's been kind of glaring in these times.
Yeah, and
right now, but
and politics aside, you're absolutely right on that. Yep. I agree. ButteSports.com.
Yeah, and then with both sides. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
No, absolutely. I was just giving you another intro, but yeah, absolutely. It doesn't matter if you like Trump or Bullock or not. It's both sides.
Yeah.
Take the politics out, and there hasn't been a uniformity across anything, and I think that's a real frustrating part. Let me ask you this, Bill. Parents that have been saying on social media, well, we can show up at the football games or volleyball matches and we'll just protest it. But then at the end of the day, to me, you're hurting the kid, because we saw what happened last week in American Fork, Utah, where they postponed the game in the middle and until everybody social distance and masked up. Can we see that? Would you think we'll see that in Montana, where parents just show up and then the kids are the ones that suffer because the game gets postponed or canceled?
I would not be surprised by that even a little bit if that happened, because I've heard parents talking like that they're going to do it, and that's what's going to happen. Is they're just going to force the hand of the police department there, or the school officials, to say that's enough, for shutting it down. We've already lost the championship basketball games. Mm-hmm. You hate to lose more. I mean, plus these parents can watch the games. They can watch it on the streaming site.
Right?
They can. We can interview. We got a couple of great radio guys. Filming the action, which obviously it doesn't fill it in, but boy, storming the gates and turning this into a protest. There's only people hurt are the kids, and then high school sports, there's no redshirt years,
right?
So any year lost is gone. So I really would hope the parents would not do that. I wish people would just take this seriously, wear masks, social distance whenever they go somewhere, and hopefully we can get through it. But I start storming the gates, and And I see that as a problem. Even at Butte High, I see that, I don't know if you've been at Naranche Stadium, you can watch the games from the street,
Right.
certain places, and I see those places being crowded with, people. And I don't know if that's a school issue there, or if that's a police issue, or if they do anything about it. But I see that as an issue that could shut a game down right in the middle of the game.
Yeah, which is going to be harmful to the kids. Naranche is beautiful.
Yeah.
I love watching a game from there.
Yeah, that's great.
Here's another question. It goes back to Butte Central. They're supposed to be at home, and they play their home games at Tech. What if Tech doesn't allow Butte Central to play? Because if Tech's closed down, how then can Butte Central have their home games? Or where would they play?
Yeah, I think one good thing we do have in Butte is we have 3 nice stadiums. We have the Bulldog Memorial Stadium at East Junior High, and we have Naranche along with Tech, which is just a beautiful stadium as well. I think they could work something out with the school district to play there. I know they've had issues over the years over, charging rent and stuff, but I think they'd be able to figure that out.
Okay.
I don't think that would be an issue. I mean, I think it would be an issue, but I think it would be one that they would resolve pretty good, because I think as it is now, I think right now, since they're dealing with each other on a several times a week basis, our ADs and superintendents of the school systems are getting along really well, and they have the best interest of the kids at heart. I really, truly, I believe we're really pretty lucky and good as far as, with Chuck Merrifield, Dewey Joner with Butte High, and Don Peoples Jr. and Chad Peterson at Central. I do think in Butte we do have people looking out, and I think probably for the most part you see that around the schools. They're doing things the right way. It's just the knucklehead factor is out there though, and I always worry about that.
I know, man. It's absolutely strange. The one thing I will say though is, I grew up in Bozeman, so Butte was our natural rivalry. So, but you guys should never have an issue up there because you've been living in Butte with the pit and everything up there. You drinking that water for all those years. You guys should be immune to everything, right?
Yeah, we should be. Yes. We always, Paul Panisco and I always joke. We have that. If you see in the wintertime, there's a cloud comes over the Berkeley pit, and then it hovers down on town, and they say it's safe, I'm sure. I can't imagine it could possibly be safe, but we call it the therapeutic cloud. It's either going to kill us or it's going to kill everything that could possibly kill us. So we'll go up there and breathe it in just to be safe.
That is awesome. Hey, what's on tap for tomorrow? What's your article?
I'm not really sure. This might be one of those nights where sometimes I haven't done it for 2 nights ahead of time. Sometimes I'm writing them until 2 in the morning. But I probably leaning towards tackling the issue about Butte Central, making a decision. It was a tough decision. I know what it's like to. I was on the football team as a freshman at Butte Central for Coach Peoples' first year. I ended up going to Butte High after that. But I know. When they went in that Butte High game, I know that women boys even they were going to win, even though the world knew they weren't, and then they didn't win, they get thumped. And I know how competitive those guys are. I know this was a tough decision for Coach Peoples and his staff, and I think it was a brave decision. And I think they did it for the right reasons. I've already had one of my meathead friends from Anaconda tell me that BC soft for not wanting to play, and they wouldn't have canceled if it was against Browning or Anaconda,
Oh, geez.
But so I commend Coach Peoples for making a brave choice, because I know this is hurting him tremendously, and I really hated it if talk goes out there about Butte Central being afraid to play, because I certainly know
that's
a team that could have been a Class C football team for all these years, and that's competed in the playoffs in the Class A. They're not afraid to play anybody.
No, they're not, and that's just. For people to say that they're scared, that Butte Central's scared, that's just idiotic, and it goes back to some of those stupid comments from people we see on social media that disagree with you and I. And I'm not having you on just because we agree. I mean, that's what your article could be. I mean, you could say, hey, a radio guy and a TV or a paper guy finally talked. I mean,
yeah.
They weren't glaring at each other at a Montana Tech basketball Carroll game.
It's like Dr. Venkman, cats and dogs living together in massive area.
Hey, Bill, I appreciate the time. I love reading your stuff, whether I agree with you or not. It's what's great about your articles is it makes you think. In whether, like I said, I agree with some, I don't agree with others, but you get that different look of looking at something, and it really opens your eyes a lot of times. And I appreciate it. Keep up the good work down there, and I hope to have you on again soon.
Well, I appreciate that, and give me a call anytime. I'd love to come on and talk sports, especially Montana sports, and make sure to say hello to Doug for me, will you?
I definitely will. Take care, Bill. That is Bill Foley. He writes Tapper Light, ButteSports.com down there in the mining city, and he writes fantastic stuff. And it's just there's a lot of stuff we have to think about right now, and we spent some time talking about Butte Central opting out of its game this Friday. It's a season opener at Hamilton because they've only had 12 days of practice, and it's a tough decision for those kids. It's a tough decision for both Butte Central and Hamilton kids. But at the end of the day, I think it's the right decision. And there's just not enough known right now. And it's not even really a COVID decision. We've had 12 days of practice decision. We didn't have to have, or didn't get summer workout season. And it's a big, big deal. And it's not going to be the first time. That won't be the last time, I beg your pardon, that we're going to see this maybe this week, this year, moving forward. But like Bill and I agree, we all want a season. And I think we can all agree on this. We all want a sports season, but at the end of the day, we don't know if we're going to have spring football in the Big Sky yet. So let's just hope the best for the kids this fall in all the fall sports, that they get to have their seasons. And parents, don't be idiots. Don't show up to protest, and don't ruin what could be a great moment in your kid's life because you have to be in the stands. That's not worth it. It's not worth it for the kid, and it sure as heck ain't worth it for you. Because at the end of the day, it's about the kids. It's not about you. All right, we're going to come back. We have we'll tell you what's coming up tomorrow, and appreciate Bill Foley joining us. Great conversation. He's seriously, right? Go ButteSports.com, Tapper Lights his articles, opinion page. Great stuff. When we come back, we are going to have On This Day in History. We've got some other stuff to chat about. Great Falls. How about Libby? They have their decision announced, Libby Loggers. And we'll also have our Auto Concepts Performance of the Week. It is the Jason Walker Show, and it is presented by Capital Collision Center. Coming right back.
New vehicles keep coming, and Capital Collision Center keeps earning certifications to repair them. They're Helena's newest GM-certified facility. No matter the make or year, they repair your car to manufacturer's standards and requirements, maintaining its safety and value. Montana state law says it's your vehicle and it's your choice where you have it repaired. Choose Capital Collision Center, certified in GM, Subaru, and Nissan, and Helena's only shop certified in Honda, Acura, and Ford. When you value safety, go to Capital Collision Center on Euclid.
Store-wide savings are what you'll find when you shop for new home furnishings at Rucker's Furniture. This means tremendous values on Helena's largest in-stock selection of home furnishings. When you shop Rucker's, you'll find store-wide savings on the furniture you want for every room in your home. And you'll also find our selection of Serta iComfort, the most comfortable beds in Helena. 12-month financing is available with approved credit on most purchases over $299. Ask for details. You'll find store-wide savings at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
Have you thought about buying a home and just don't know where to begin? Well, when it comes to one of the most important purchases one can make, we understand it can be frustrating and confusing, but it doesn't have to be. Let the Major Mortgage team help you with all your mortgage needs. Major Mortgage means major service, and we would love the opportunity to help you today. Give J.R. McFadden, NMLS number 1246357, a call today at 406-465-1918, or you can visit him at 2001 11th Avenue, Building A, Suite 3 in Helena. Major Mortgage is a division of AMCAP Mortgage, NMLS number 129122, equal housing lender. Yes, it's true that Montana is a long way from the Gulf Coast, but you can bring that Cajun flavor home with a stop at Cafe Zydeco. From po' boys to classic sandwiches, Cafe Zydeco has all the best Cajun in town. Are you in the mood for seafood gumbo or crawfish etouffee? Maybe you're craving jambalaya with some shrimp and grits. Head in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or call ahead for pickup or delivery. Cafe Zydeco will fix all your southern cravings, even on a chilly Montana day. Cafe Zydeco is a proud sponsor of The Jason Walker Show.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, It feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call State Farm agent Mike Miller in Helena today. Dinner's Done Right is open and ready for you to stop in and stock up for the summer. How does a Big Sky flank steak sound? Or a sage roasted pork loin? June's menu also includes a Parmesan tilapia and a variety of fantastic chicken cuisines and more. And if that's not enough, Dinner's Done Right's Grab and Go Soup, Salad, and Nacho Bar is back as well, with one exception. The delightful staff now will make it for you. And don't forget deliveries to Bozeman and Great Falls on select days. Stop in at 1212 Cedar Street in Helena or visit dinnersdoneright.com. Do you love to look at photos of Montana, from animals to landscapes and more? Are you looking for a place to get your senior pictures or family portraits done? Are you a business owner looking to upgrade the decor in your offices? Well, look no further than Mark LaRoe Photography. Mark has been shooting beautiful photos all across the Treasure State, from rodeos to portraits, and would love to work with you. Visit marklaroephotography.com to see many masterpieces of his work, then give him a call to schedule your own photo shoot. Or to purchase one of his fantastic pieces, stop by Spirit of the Big Sky Gallery on Custer in Helena. marklaroephotography.com.
Welcome back to the Jason Walker Show.
Welcome back, Jason Walker Show, inside the Major Mortgage Man Cave. We are presented by Capital Collision Center. So I told you, got in a wreck July 2nd. I got T-boned. Wasn't my fault. And immediately my first thought was to take my truck to Capital Collision Center. So I've been talking about them for a few years doing sports. And I've always known that they're a great local family business built on relationships. So here's the deal with my truck. It was nearly total. It wasn't. Their repair shop, oh my gosh. It looks brand new. I got it back last week. It looks like it just came off the lot. But they have a book that is based off of the manufacturer's repair manual. So in this case, I have a Chevy. So they spent so much they have spent millions of dollars to achieve safety ratings and want their vehicles properly repaired to manufacturer specification. So that is exactly what these manufacturers do. They send out these repair manuals to like Capital Collision Center. So they used step by step how to fix every piece of my truck that was damaged. Every single little tiny, from the littlest, tiniest screw to the laser pointing to it's unbelievable. Now, Capital Collision was one of the first shops in the country to become manufacturer certified, which requires special training and equipment to be on the programs. Very important to Capital Collision Center that your vehicle is properly repaired to manufacturer repair requirements to maintain the safety and value of your vehicle. I recommend it, not just because they're now a sponsor. I took my truck there before they became a sponsor. That's how much I trusted Capital Collision Center, and you will too. Give them a call if you have any issues, okay? It's perfect. Thanks to our segment sponsors, Ruckers Furniture and Mark LaRoe Photography. Mark has fantastic photos up on Spirit of the Big Sky Gallery, but marklaroephotography.com, like the one behind me off my left shoulder, you're right. That was taken in Ennis, July the 3rd at the NRA Rodeo, and you can purchase that. Not that one, because I own that one, but you can purchase one exactly like that. marklaroephotography.com, you'll get 20% off by mentioning the Jason Walker Show for any purchase. Love our sponsors here on the Jason Walker Show, and love our guests today. Tim McMahon, Helena Schools Activities Director, Bill Foley, ButteSports.com writer, getting the perspective of different reasons why we've seen different things happen across the state. Yellowstone County, Lewis and Clark County not allowing fans in the stands to start. We saw Flathead and Butte Silver Bow say that they're going to allow 2 fans, but for home players, but no visiting fans. And Great Falls Public Schools came out last week and said no visiting fans, but they will allow 3 tickets per home uniformed player. Libby, the Loggers, are going to allow 50% capacity for their football games this year. That came out today, I saw. We mentioned Butte Central losing its first game, having to forfeit by opting out this week at Hamilton. It's a tough blow for both kids, the kids on both teams, and it's the smart decision. And I know that the streaming that you can watch is not always great, but it's better than nothing. And if that means your kids get to have a season, that's better than nothing, is it not? Right? And if you're disagreeing with that, then that's on you. So, there you go. That's just a thought. Just a couple of thoughts. Anyway, we have great people that listen and weigh in on this show, and you can too anytime. You can tweet at JWalkerSports. You can Facebook us. You can email jasonwalkersports@gmail.com. You can also go to the website, jasonwalkershow.com, and download any other shows that you may have missed or wanted to rewatch over again, including today. And there's a great article, by the way. I lost it, so I guess I won't be talking about that today. Let's get to our Auto Concepts Performance of the Week. So they rode in Webo over the weekend, Northern Rodeo, and our Auto Concepts Performance of the Week, our winners at the NRA. And Tucker Zing, who I believe is getting married next month. Man, what a great bareback rider. He won the bareback. He went 152 total score on 2 head, and fantastic rides there for Tucker. Alan Gobert won the Saddle Bronc. Brody Hassanak won the bull riding. 89. Wow, that's awesome. Steer wrestling goes to Clay Johnson. Tie down, George Marsenko, former Bobcat rodeo star. Team roping. I got to get this kid on. Somebody's got to help me I can't find him anywhere. Rope 3 irons out of Lodge Grass. I just want to talk to him. What a great name. Rope 3 irons and his partner Clay Gun Shows. How cool are those names? And I'm not making fun. I love it. I think that's fantastic. Rope 3 irons, who wins the team roping with Clay Gun Shows. And I got to think after they won, does Clay, throw up the guns? Welcome to the gun show. We got to get these guys on the air. Somebody needs to help me out and get these guys on the air. Taylor Moykins won barrels, and Jessica McGilkey took the breakaway. So there you go. There's our Auto Concept Performance of the Week. The winners at Webo. They will run at Deer Lodge next weekend, and then wrap up at Helmville, and then the finals in October for the NRA. So got to get rope 3 irons on. And Clay Gun Shows. Sue, thank you for being a listener. Facebook, thanks for a local sports show. We stay local and statewide as much as we can. It's tough sometimes, but we enjoy it. We love what we do. AA golf tomorrow in Missoula. We talked about that a little bit. And, of course, the tough news out of Butte Central, losing their first game. So, all right. On this day, it is August the 24th. It is National Maryland Day. It is also Peach Pie Day. I'm not a peach guy. It is Waffle Day today, though. Waffles are awesome. 1912, the New York City held a ticker tape parade for Jim Thorpe and his victorious U.S. Olympians. Got into a conversation on the golf course over the weekend on the putting green. Who's the greatest athlete of all time? And I said, Secretariat. And the dude I was playing golf with was like, dude, that's a horse. So then I said, all right, Jim Thorpe. Now, there's some publication he found that said Jim Brown. Now, Jim Brown was a heck of an athlete. But I think Jim Thorpe played professional baseball, football, the Olympics. I mean, unbelievable athlete. I think Jim Thorpe, aside from Secretariat, would be my all-time greatest athlete. 1925, the U.S. National Championship Women's Tennis. Helen Wills Moody goes back-to-back-to-back, her 3rd straight title in 1925. So she won in 23, 24, and 25, lost in 26, and then comes back and wins in 27, 1928, and then today, in 1929, her 3rd straight title and 6th overall. So she won 6 out of 7 national U.S. Women's Opens. 1940, Ted Williams pitches the last 2 innings of a loss to Detroit, gives up 3 hits and a run, still the greatest hitter of all time. Pete Rose was banned from baseball on this date in 1989 for life for gambling. Still should be in the Hall of Fame for what he did as a player. Happy birthday, Duke Kahanamoku, the American swimmer and surfer, won gold in 1912 and 1920, and twice in 1920. Great surfer. I think, is he the father of surfing? Happy birthday to Cal Ripken Jr., born on this date in 1960. We know what he did. He was pretty solid baseball player.
We're almost at the end of the show. What did we learn? And what did he miss? Time for the walk-off.
All right, time for the walk-off. And we talked to Tim McMahon. It was a tough decision to not have fans to start in Helena for AA, for Capital, or Helena High football. Same thing in Billings. They are having was it 6:30 to 7:30 tonight? They're having a meeting. I don't think they're going to restrict or lessen any restrictions, but from what I've read and heard, it'll be interesting to see what happens with schools, because we didn't get to our daily COVID update, so we can do that real quick. There's 52 new cases in the state, but Yellowstone County has 781 active cases of COVID right now. And there's a lot of concern because schools are starting up. 173 in Bighorn. Rosebud is now into triple digits with 110 active cases, 115 up in the Flathead. 91 total deaths, 1,556 active cases, 4,842 have recovered. And there are currently 114 in the hospital. And Montana is reporting 22,000 new tests over the weekend. Is that right? That can't be right. Well, good on them if they did. That's great. All right. Great conversation with Tim McMahon. Great conversation with Bill Foley, ButteSports.com. If you missed either one, you can go to JasonWalkerShow.com. We'll have them fully uploaded, interruption-free, shortly. Also the audio and as well. Major Mortgage Man Cave will do it again tomorrow. Janice Dean will join us, the Fox News weather anchor, talking COVID, and she lost both of her in-laws due to COVID. And we're going to talk to Janice Dean tomorrow right here on the Jason Walker Show. We are presented by Capital Collision Center, certified in customer service as well. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. Hope you had a great Monday. We'll see you back here on Tuesday. Don't forget, no show Friday. It's birthday weekend for me. Start a birthday week today. Send your presents in, but make them nice. And just remember, parents, Doug, don't screw this up for the kids. Let them have their seasons. We'll see you again tomorrow, Janice Dean.
The Jason Walker Show is produced by the Jason Walker Media Company. Any reuse, rebroadcast, or retransmission without the express written consent of the Jason Walker Show is strictly prohibited. Just listen, watch, and enjoy.